Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So with recent changes on the PTR, we've spoken about how they may affect Sombra and Soldier in videos so far. We've not really focused too much on the D.Va changes in itself, so in this video we wanted to talk about the armor changes to D.Va, where we feel this leaves her, but also if we're assuming D.Va drops out of the meta somewhat, what other heroes may we see more of?
As for her changes, the health and armor values have been swapped. Instead of having 400 armor and 200 health, she now has 200 armor and 400 health. On the face of it, it doesn't seem like much. However, once you jump into the PTR on D.Va, you definitely feel the difference. Fighting against the D.Va feels completely different too. You actually feel like you can kind of take her on in a 1v1 scenario instead of needing a group of friends to defeat her in a raid boss-like way. And as a knee-jerk reaction, lots of players expressed concern for her viability and felt like this was too much of a nerf even. And we don't necessarily agree that she will drop out of the meta entirely, but she will take a huge hit if these changes go through in their current state.
Before we talk about the potential return of Edgelord, we want to go over these changes a little bit and why these nerfs are both good and bad for D.Va and the game as a whole. Whilst both her and Ana were nerfed, and a lot more people tend to sort of point at Ana being the cause of the triple tank meta, we do really feel that D.Va has a lot to answer for here as well. First, she didn't really have any major weaknesses. She had great mobility, great damage mitigation, a lot of health and armor, and surprisingly a lot of damage at her disposal as well. Mixed in with Ana, she was a nightmare to take down. One of the only things that could make you sweat as a D.Va player was a high-charged Zarya zapping you down. Other non-perishable weapons like Mei and Winston's primary fire could go through the defense matrix, but honestly didn't really do enough damage to take her down one-on-one. Because of her defense matrix and the ability to shut out so much damage, she shut out plenty of the Overwatch cast, and that has a lot to do with why the meta has been so stale recently.
When it came to the tank meta, lots of players naturally said that Reaper was the answer. He was the ultimate tank buster and very capable of getting in the backline's faces and also synergized well with the flavor of the month, Ana. Reaper worked at first, but after the Ana Nano Boost nerf and D.Va being buffed, the tank meta changed enough for Reaper to struggle too. The addition of D.Va into the ranks basically shut the door on Reaper in terms of being a solid meta pick. Whilst Reaper had decent damage at his disposal to eat away at tanks, D.Va's armor and right-click mitigation just made it very difficult to get that damage through. On top of that, the defense matrix can eat Death Blossom up, no problem. If D.Va starts to dwindle though, out of team lineups and so on, we can definitely see Reaper come back into the fray, potentially along with a range of other offense heroes.
Because of D.Va's prominent state in the game currently, her being nerfed would affect so many other heroes other than Reaper, both fighting with and against her. Another interesting topic to note is if these changes do go through, will we see this multi-tank meta come to an end? But more so, how will the other tanks fare in fighting for that off-tank spot if D.Va drops out of it? Would this give Winston an opportunity to be the high mobility tank of the team? And I mean, Zarya is consistently picked already, so would she see a rise in popularity and take that slot permanently again? As of right now, we're gonna have to wait and see on those changes with off-tanking and actually see what changes actually stick from the PTR to live, but it's looking very likely that these tank picks will be changed up a whole lot. But going back over the offense heroes, we definitely see Tracer being able to make much more of a solid impression on teams. Before, D.Va could defense matrix her primary fire and ultimate, but mainly D.Va's armor allowed her to shell a lot of Tracer's damage, meaning it would take Tracer like around a fortnight to get D.Va out of the mech. So without D.Va in the equation, Tracer's a little bit more breathing room to pursue, poke Reinhardt's and Roadhogs in the butt with a gun, get ult charge, and then just rip the backline apart. So we definitely say Reaper and Tracer are our choice picks for up and coming heroes if these changes actually go through.
Before we close out this video, we do want to talk about the problems with D.Va being nerfed, as there is a standout one actually. A lot of damage is at our hero's disposal nowadays, and as we've heard and seen with Reinhardt's shield going down in record time, Soldier being a damage monster and Roadhog outputting a ton of damage, D.Va really was a solid answer to mitigating all of this. Nobody else in Overwatch can really mitigate and absorb damage in the same ways that D.Va can. No other hero even comes really close to that. Think of it this way, and bear with me here. Reinhardt can absorb a limited amount of damage for an unlimited amount of time, until the shield is broken of course, whilst D.Va can absorb an unlimited amount of damage for a limited amount of time, until the defense matrix runs out, that is. Basically the reverse of each other. Together with enough communication, both tanks can block nearly all forms of damage coming in, and in this sense, losing D.Va in the meta would be similar to losing Reinhardt, a core hero that makes the intense damage output of all heroes a little bit more bearable and easier to digest. Whilst the game would be far from unplayable by any stretch of the imagination, losing D.Va and more specifically her defense matrix during this super Super Soldier and Roadhog heavy meta is going to be a bit rough. At least that's our theory. Especially with offense heroes seemingly making a strong comeback.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Main question here that I want to ask you guys, do you think these changes to D.Va are a little bit too much or not enough? And do you think that she's still going to be played a lot if the changes on the PTR currently go through? And also do let us know what choice of heroes you expect to see more of. Do you expect to see more Reaper, more Tracer? Do let us know in the comments below. And do like the video whilst you're down there if you want to make a comment. It's one of those things that YouTubers say it really helps out the channel, and it honestly does, so I would really appreciate it if you did that. But that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.